Hello, my name is Astrid Krasniqi. In this video I will be showing you how to install Server 2012 R2. So, installing Server 2012 R2 by Astrid Krasniqi. In this video we will be talking about Windows Server 2012 editions. Then we talk about system requirements for Windows Server 2012 R2 installation. Then performing a clean installation of Windows. Server core or graphical user interface is our choice. Then I will be demonstrating you how to install Server 2012 R2 and initial configuration in the GUI mode. Then we do a switching between Server GUI mode and Server core mode. We'll see that on the demonstrations as well. Then the initial configuration of Server 2012 R2 in the core mode, and switching between Server core mode and now to the Server GUI mode. Okay, so let's get started. Windows Server 2012 editions, we have first Datacenter, Windows Server 2012 Standard Edition, then Essentials Edition, and Foundation Edition. In a Windows Server 2012 Foundation, this distribution of this server is with OEM only, and how we license these servers is per server. The processor limit is 1, so you can have maximum 1 processor. Memory limit is 32 GB, and user limit is 15. So Foundation is for very small businesses. 15 users they can log on to this server. Then the next level up is Essentials. Essentials distribution we have through retail, which you can go and purchase one of these servers, license or volume license or OEM. License model is again per server, and processor limit is 2. This is processor, actually the processor, not the core. So 2 processor, they could be quad core, dual core, any core. Memory limit can have 64 GB of RAM, and user limit 25 this time. Then we have a Windows Server 2012 Standard Edition. Distribution of this server is retail, volume license or OEM. License model, in here we move to license per CPU pair. And processor limit, we can have quite a lot more now. We can have up to 64 processors. And memory limit 4 TB. User limit, it's unlimited for users. Windows Server 2012 Datacenter. The Datacenter is the best. It's for the big businesses, businesses, yeah. Distribution, volume licensing only or OEM. License model per CPU pair or client access license. Processor limit 64. Memory limit 4 TB. And user limit is unlimited. Right, so system requirements for Windows Server 2012 R2 installation are CPU socket 1.4 GHz for 64-bit only. So it doesn't support 32-bit, unfortunately. Memory RAM 512 MB minimum, and hard disk 32 GB. This is a minimum requirement, really. So it's only if you want to install Windows and play around or learn a little bit with it. As soon as you install different roles, if this server is in production, those are not enough. Anything, memory, CPU, or hard disk. Okay, and then we're gonna need a DVD or USB. We have to install it somehow. Performing a clean installation of Windows. A clean installation is when you install Windows on a PC that doesn't already have an existing version of Windows, bare metal. So if it doesn't have any Windows, nothing, you just buy a brand new hard disk and you install Windows in it. It's called a clean installation. Reformat an existing disk that has Windows installed. Start fresh, more stable than upgrade. Yeah, if you already have Windows installed, maybe Windows Server 2003 or 2008, and you want to format that hard disk and then install brand new Windows Server 2012, it's called a start fresh or a clean installation again. this is more stable than if you upgrade. Server core or graphical user interface. We have a choice. Do we use a graphical user interface or server core? Now, graphical user interface, most of us administrators, we are used to that. We like it more, but Microsoft it wants us to learn how to do the commands, go through the server core. We have to learn it anyway, so I would recommend to install server core and start configuring it through server core. It does require less resources than GUI, and it's more secure than GUI. And it's not going to need that much. There's no updates for server core. Demonstration. In this demonstration, you will see how to perform a clean installation of Server 2012 R2, Graphical User Interface, GUI mode. In there, you will see as well how to do like a perform post-installation configuration. And then we will see how to take a snapshot as well. After you do the installation, you have to do some initial configuration, and some of the configuration you have to do it locally on the server. And these configuration are the network connection, the IP address, gateway, DNS, and all that. Then we have to do the set up the time zone, rename the computer, join it to a domain, enable remote desktop, and configure Windows Update settings. Demonstration, we can see as well after we install the Windows, we will get to see how to do initial configuration of the server. Okay, so next time we'll see how to install Windows Server. Now we have a VirtualBox installed, downloaded and installed, and we have downloaded our operating system. So 180 days evaluation for server and Windows 8.1. Okay, so we're ready to install. We saw the requirements, what we need to install. So to install a new operating system, in the VirtualBox Manager we click New, and then we write down the name of the operating system we're about to install. So let's call this DC01. Okay, and this one is going to be server 2012 64-bit. Yep. Next, we're going to give 2 GB of RAM, so that's enough. If you can give more, go for it, but even with 2 it's fine. Click next, and then we have to create a new virtual hard disk now. So we create from hard disk file type. We can choose quite a few of them. If I prefer using VHD, as if I want to mix and match with a Hyper-V, then Hyper-V will understand these VHD files. So I will click VHD and then click next. Now the hard disk, physical hard disk, what do you want? You have a choice here. Do you want to use a dynamically allocated or fixed size? If we choose fixed size, then it's going to take whatever hard disk space we say. The hard disk is going to take the chunk of it, and that's it. So if we say 60 GB, our hard disk is going to be reduced by 60 GB. If we say a dynamically allocated, if we say then 60 GB, it's going to use only what it needs rather than going to take that chunk. So dynamically allocated is I prefer. Click next, and then how much space we want. Say 60 GB, 60 GB. Create. Okay, now our operating system is being created, this virtual machine. So now we have to edit it a little bit. So if I right click and then select settings, and then on the virtual machine settings we can change the name DC01, that's fine. Well, let's just change it. Say this one is going to be called LON for London, DC1, and 2012 R2. We just know what machine we are running. Okay, make Microsoft Windows 2012, that's good. If we go to advanced, this is the snapshot folder. This is where our snapshots are going to be stored. I don't have any description for this virtual machine. System, change the memory, how much memory you are assigning to this machine. Floppy, we can remove the floppy. We don't need this on our exercise. Processor, we can give 2 processors, and acceleration, leave it as is. Display, that's fine. Storage, in here we have to change the DVD. So we already have our hard disk, that's our hard disk, but the DVD is empty. So if we click here, choose a virtual CD DVD disk file. So now we have to go to the desktop. That's my ISO are stored. So if I double click this ISO, and I have to choose the ISO, the image that I'm gonna install. So 2012 is gonna be the image. Open that, okay. And then we go to audio, we disable the audio as we're not gonna need it. Networking, now we have to choose what networking is it. At the moment by default you see it says NAT, network address translation. We're not going to use that for a moment, we're just going to use a host only adapter. And VirtualBox host only Ethernet adapter. Then serial ports, we don't have any. USB, disable the USB controller. Shared folders, we're not going to share any folders in this exercise. So click OK. Now our virtual machine is ready to be installed. So I can right click, select start, or I can just press this button, then our virtual machine will start. Okay, start. Now we can see our virtual machine is starting. You have the audio capture keyboard option turned on. This will cause the virtual machine to automatically capture the keyboard. Okay, just first setting that we have to choose is language to install, time and currency format. Here we leave it, we change it to United Kingdom English, United Kingdom, and then the keyboard or input methods will be selected as United Kingdom. After we set that, click next. Then we can say install now, or from here you can repair your computer as well. Since there's no installation on this computer, it's a bare metal machine, we have to select install now. Okay, we get to choose what operating system do we want to install. Here we have a standard evaluation, server core installation, standard evaluation and server with GUI, Datacenter evaluation with server core, or Datacenter evaluation server with GUI. First we're going to install with the GUI, and then we're going to convert from GUI to core. Select next. And then this is license agreement. You have to read it. Well, you're meant to read it. So just go through it and click next. And then we have 2 choices. We have upgrade, install Windows and keep file settings and application. We can't upgrade because this in the machine there's nothing installed, there's no operating system whatsoever. So we can only use this custom install Windows only, advanced. Here we can choose the allocation, the drive allocation for the space. First, how much space you want to give. 60 GB. If I click next, it will use all the space. Or if I want to, for example, create a different partitions, I can select new and then write down the amount on the megabyte, the partition I want to create. But for this exercise I do want to use all of it, so I'm going to cancel that and then select next. Now the installation has started. I'm going to pause the video and come back when it's finished. Okay, the installation is continuing. It's nearly installed. It did take about 30-35 minutes to get to this stage. So I will pause the video again just to not let you wait here till it's finished. Okay, now we have to add the password for the administrator. So password. In all my training, our password is password. Capital P A $W0RD, which is very good. I use it all the time for all users, and everywhere there's a password requirement. It's great because it is complex password. It involves upper letters, lower letters, and okay, and click finish. Now that it's already installed, we need to press Ctrl-Alt-Delete to sign in. In Oracle, it's right control and delete. Let me get one keyboard and show you where it is. Okay, so it's right control here, control, and then delete as well. So control, delete, control, delete. You should be able to sign in. Okay, so control, delete. Put the password. Now we have Windows Server 2012 R2 installed. I took the clock off so you don't get to see how long this is taking for me. And we have a start menu. Ooh, that's great. Now we have a start. We didn't before. Okay, so we go to desktop again. Server Manager is opening, so we wait for that few seconds. Now we are met with a new dashboard from Server 2012. We can see there's a new dashboard, Server Manager, the configuration here, the local configuration that we have to do. Go to the local server, and then in here we have to do some configuration that we cannot do it remotely. Okay, so from here we can change the computer name. You can see the name that Windows has chosen. I can definitely change that. We can join into domain by changing the workgroup to domain. Change the IP address. Enable like remote desktop. So first of all, we change the name, but it's gonna ask us to restart. But I'm not going to restart because I'm going to take a snapshot as well. Well, we do the integrated as well and then restart. Okay, so first thing is we change the IP address. So click on that Ethernet, IPv4 address assign. Opens the network connection. So this is the only Ethernet card I have. So I'll have to click on it first. Then right click and select properties. In here, in the properties, I am going to change IPv4 settings, not IPv6, because we're not using IPv6 at the moment. So select IPv4 and then properties. From the properties of this, I will be using say IP address 10. Make sure the num block is on, otherwise you're not typing. So 10.10.0.10. This is the IP address that I just picked, a private IP address. I'm using this one. You can select any private IP addresses that you like. Subnet mask, I'm going to use /24, so 255.255.255.0. The gateway, I'm not going to have any gateway on this server. Everything is going to be local. DNS, I'm going to use this IP address. He's going to be the DNS because later on I'm going to install DNS on this server. So same IP address as its own. So 10.10.0.10 for the IP address for this server and the IP address for the DNS server. Click OK, close, and close this window as well. Now, I want to enable remote desktop. You can see by default it's disabled. So I want to enable that. Click on there and allow remote connection to this computer. Remote desktop firewall exceptions will be enabled. Yeah, we like that. Click OK. Here, allow connection only from a computer running remote desktop with network level authentication recommended. This is for later operating system. If you have like a Windows XP or early editions, then you have to untick this. You can't use this. But we don't in this network, so I'm gonna have it ticked. You can enable the users who will remote this server. By default, you can see the administrator is allowed anyway. So click OK. OK again. We change what we can do here. Change the name. I want to leave that for last. Time zone. We are in London, so I'm not going to change that. It's pick the correct one. Then I'm going to change the computer name. So computer name, click that, then select change, and our computer name is going to be LON DC1 hyphen 2012 R2. There we go. Long name. Press OK. It's going to ask us to reboot or restart. You must restart your computer to apply these changes. Yep, OK, and close. But I want to restart a bit later. Right, so this is pretty much done, the initial configuration. What we need to do is install like a guest editions CD image. So insert that, and then I'll click start menu, go to this PC here, and that will open the DVD is being inserted. Now this DVD editions. To access this, you have to right click and then say open. What we're doing here is we are installing kind of like integration tools, or easy, like the mouse will be seamlessly used with this in operating system. We will have like for example, we can go in and out with the mouse from this without a problem. Okay, so double click that, click next, then next again, install. Okay, so this installation is next. Install always trust from Oracle. Yep, that's fine. Okay, it has installed. It's asking us to reboot. This needs to reboot as well. So yep, we do that. Finish, and we can reboot. Okay, the Windows is rebooting. To remove that DVD, that virtual DVD that we inserted, you have to click on the devices there on the top, and then CD DVD devices, and then remove disk from virtual drive. So we remove that virtual disk. Okay. Okay, we are back. So right control and delete, and then we enter our password. So password. Okay, the caps lock is on. Take that off. Password again. Okay, now we have restarted it, and what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take a snapshot. So later on we're gonna do our testing, our work, and if we want to come back to this point where we are now, then we can do the snapshot, revert to that snapshot. So this is the best time to take a snapshot, and we close this server manager. This is okay. This is a red thing here is fine because there's some services they have to start a bit later, so it will go green later on. So close the server manager and click start. Then we want to log off from this administrator. Well, actually shut down. So window key and C, then settings, power, shut down. We have to tell Y, so other, planned, continue. Okay, the operating system has shut down. So what we're gonna do at the moment is take a snapshot of this point where we are. So on the right here we have snapshot. Click snapshot. Let me just move this window a little bit up, and then we have to take a snapshot here. So click this icon here, a snapshot. Yep, it will be snapshot name 1 bear install. That's it. Okay. So every time we want to come back to this point where we are at the moment, we can always revert to this snapshot. All we have to do is right click the snapshot that we want to revert to and then say restore the snapshot. Okay, the initial configuration or post installation configuration has been done. So let's go back to the slides. To switch between Server GUI mode and Server Core mode, we need to install some features. So you need to go to User Interface and Infrastructure and uninstall some of the features. Two features: Graphical Management Tools and Infrastructure, and a Server Graphical Shell. So I'm gonna go to my virtual box manager, sorry. This machine is already running this Server 2012 R2. So I'm gonna stop this virtual machine. So click on the close, power off. Okay, power off. And now I'm gonna revert to the snapshot. So this is my snapshot. So if I right click on it and say restore to the snapshot, you get this message: do you want to create a snapshot of a current machine state and then revert? No, I don't want to take a snapshot now. Just untick that and restore the machine. Okay, the machine has been restored, so I can start this virtual machine. Okay, I'll pause the video while it starts. Okay, the machine has started, so Control Delete and password. Okay, the window has started, so I can minimize this. This is Graphical User Interface. So we have a start menu here. We can start the PowerShell, PC, this PC, and so on. All configuration is done through the Graphical User Interface. If you wanted to switch from the this Graphical User Interface into Server Core, where it would require less resources and it's more secure, then on the Server Manager we click Manage. So we have Manage, Tools, View, and Help. We click Manage, and we don't want to add roles. Now we want to remove roles and features. So remove roles and features. There's no any okay, you have to read this wizard once before you start, and then you can skip it. So after you read it, click skip, so it doesn't show this by default. Okay, click next. What server you want to remove the role from? This is the server that I want to remove. That's the IP address. Remember, we gave 10.10.0.10. Yep, click next. Now there's no role that I would like to remove. As you can see there, file and storage service has already been installed. No, we don't want to remove any roles, but we do want to remove a feature. Well, two features, and they are located under this User Interface and Infrastructure. So you have to click the arrow and then you can see them. So we need to remove this Graphical Management Tools and Infrastructure. Untick that. It will untick the other one as well. So remove all the features. So it will untick the Server Graphical Shell. And then click next, and then we have to restart the server for changes to take effect. So tick that and then remove. Okay, next thing, I will pause the video. When we come back, we'll see that we are at Server Core. I can show you that if you want to do it in the command prompt, or if you in the PowerShell, you have to open the PowerShell, and the command, it is uninstall Windows feature. So uninstall Windows feature. Okay, PowerShell, I need to like relax until it starts, gets ready. Okay, I can just type uninstall Windows and then hit the tab key. It will fill the rest of the command. Just gonna pause and see why the PowerShell has stopped working. Okay, the reason it stopped working, well, it didn't stop working. It just like was too quick. I was wanting to work too quick. Okay, uninstall Wind and tab key will fill the rest of the command. Uninstall Windows feature, then server hyphen GUI mgmt hyphen infra comma server GUI hyphen shell, and we have to restart. So if you want to do it through the PowerShell, this is the command to get rid of the GUI and have a server call. If you are already on the server call and you want the graphical user interface, then instead of uninstall, you type install. Okay, I'll see you when it's done. So I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so now we are, after I press Control or Delete, login. I will see a server call. Now we are in the server call. We have moved from server GUI mode to the server call mode. If you want to do the initial configuration, same as what we were doing in the GUI, we can run the command SCONFIG, and this will open a configuration mode through like a selection of different numbers. Similar to what I call this is like if you want to configure, I don't know, DVD or PlayStation or something, you select one number, what to configure. So if you want to change, for example, the computer name, we select number 2. So select 2, press enter, and then enter the new computer name. Blank if you want to just cancel that. To join it to domain, we select 1. So select 1, enter, join it to domain. Okay, I'm not going to join it to domain. I'm not going to change the computer name. Some other configuration, what we can do here is, if for example configure remote management, it's enabled. What we can do here, network setting, for example, if you want to change that, type number 8. As you can see there, it's number 8. So we type 8 and hit enter. Now network, select the network adapter index. So you can see the index number there, it's 10. So if I want to configure this network adapter, I need to press number 10, type enter. Set the network address. If you want to do that, press 1. Set the DNS number 2, clear the DNS 3, return to the main menu 4. Okay, so I'm going to press 4 to return to the main menu, and restart the server, shut down, or exit the command line. So I want to exit to the command line. Now what I want to do is I want to convert, or I want to switch between, now I'm in the GUI mode, or I want to switch to the I'm in the core mode and I want to switch to the GUI. To switch to the GUI, first of all you need to start the PowerShell, so type PowerShell.exe. Okay, should start very soon. Okay, now I'm in the PowerShell. As you can see there, there's a name, there's like letters, PS for PowerShell, and the PowerShell commands that will work here. So what we need to do is install Windows feature. So install hyphen Windows. I can hit the tab key to complete the configuration. Okay, for you guys who don't know where the tab key is this key here. So you can just type few commands, say install win, and hit the tab key and see it's filling up for the rest of the commands. So install Windows feature, then server GUI mgmt infra, then comma server GUI hyphen again shell restart. So what we're doing here, we installed in the Windows feature Server GUI management infrastructure. So wait 1 second there, because I've got one mistake there. Again, this is mainly why administrators don't really like typing commands, because too many typos. So install Windows feature Server GUI MGMT. There's M there missing. MGMT infra, then server GUI shell, then the last command is restart. So we installed in the two features, server GUI and server GUI shell. Okay, press enter. Let me just close this keyboard. Okay, I'm gonna pause it. Okay, now it's ready. So let's see if it did work. After I press Control Alt Delete for here, I'll put the password and we should see GUI. That did take about 15 to 20 minutes, so it seemed a longer time anyway. Okay, so here comes the truth. Come on. I'm not gonna pause it. Yay, we have GUI. Okay, so that did work very well actually. It did take a long time. Well, it seemed long time, 20 minutes, my god. Okay, now let's go back to the slides. Switching between server core mode and the server GUI mode. We saw the demonstration how to switch from the core mode to the GUI, the commands. So to switch from the core to the GUI mode on PowerShell, you need the following command: install -Windows feature server GUI mgmt infra, server GUI shell, and we need to restart. If you want to switch from GUI to the core through the PowerShell, you need the following command. Instead of install, what we have earlier there, we do uninstall Windows feature. Okay, then we saw the initial configuration of server core. We saw how to configure, well, similar, but we use the SCONFIG to do the configuration. We can use a command line like netdom or netsh, netshell. We saw the demonstration how to configure. Okay, so what we talked today, it's about, if I go right to the top again, the topics that we have covered. Installing Server 2012. We saw the first additions, what kind of additions we have of Windows 2012. Then we saw the requirements, minimum requirements for Windows Server 2012 R2. Then we performed the clean installation of Windows Server. Server core, we should get to choose. Do we want the server core or Graphical User Interface, GUI? We saw a demonstration how to install the GUI mode. Then we switched from the GUI mode to the server mode, server core mode in demonstration. Then we saw the initial configuration of server core mode, and then we switched from the server core mode to the GUI mode. Thank you very much. See you in the next videos. Bye.